The summit, and I guess the First Nations Chamber of Commerce and Industry more broadly, is something that we've been very passionate about being involved in since its inception.
It's just about getting some of the First Nations businesses and TO groups into the room with industry and government and helping to share the possibility of what can be done.
We learned well out of major economic development here in the Gladstone region with coal seam gas and liquid natural gas that we missed out greatly. There was sadly, many barriers from native title to cultural heritage and other that prevented us from truly having a seat at the table. And as these announcements were being made about meeting that net zero and Paris Agreement target, for me it was a light bulb moment to say, well, listen, if this is going to be the next biggest thing, it's going to be a new economy, then surely there's an opportunity to do things differently.
This is the first time you've had industry, government, GOCs and First Nations business all in a room for 2 days saying, how do we leverage the rollout of these renewables to get the best outcomes for First Nations? So it was a privilege to be here.
I think we're hearing voices of big businesses that truly want to change the way they do business with First Nations people. They're hearing it directly from us as traditional owners, and also how native title and cultural heritage is only one small component of who we are as First Nations people. We're about nation building, we're about economic development and prosperity.
A lot of the projects we see in the Gladstone region have a very long development time frame, and if we can help have some of those foundational skill sets around those small Indigenous businesses, they will have the best opportunity to really go after business opportunities as the work starts to be rolled out in our region.
It's not just about writing a contract that says we'll give 10 traineeships or something like that, and then turning around and saying, oh, but there was no Indigenous people with the skills we needed to offer those jobs to. No, it's about going, okay, we'll invest in the First Nations people and skill them up and bring them on and help them create the business that can then enter into a contract with us.
I think that there was a lot of courageous conversations held over the last 2 days, and I love that honesty and people speaking from the heart about what needs to be done to make real progress in this space. And I think that everybody will have a key takeaway from the last 2 days that they can go away and implement straight away.
One of the targets that I've set myself is when a company approaches me, my first question would be, what else can you do? So I want to make that pie bigger for you guys so that you can hire more First Nation people. It's what I call a ripple effect. And I have to be the first ripple. I have to start that change. And if I do that, the other things will follow.
The amount of people that are in the room who are big players in industry that moving forward in the Gladstone region, I think they're hearing it loud and clear that First Nations engagement early and First Nations engagement is critical to their projects.
From our perspective, it's we're building a relationship which is long term because the project is going to be here for the long term, and we hope for them that this early engagement will pay dividends in the long run, because not in terms of just of the relationship, in terms of actually the participation opportunities that we're talking about.
To have so many people in the room talking about the art of what's possible has been really, really rewarding and inspiring. This is a summit that should be much broader than just the Gladstone region, because the information that has been shared here should be heard by everyone.
What is being said here is something for hopefully that the organisers here, the traditional owners, the businesses that are involved, do that with the mindset that this could have a really global, national influence on how we do business in the future.
we're in an environment that's different to previous economic development. And so it's an opportunity not only for those new companies that are entering this renewable space or those expanding in wind, solar, pumped hydro and green hydrogen and other sources of renewable energy. It's an opportunity for those big industries that need to decarbonise their major energy using assets to do things differently with traditional owners and First Nations people. The transition to renewables is an opportunity to truly close the gap.